Hey, what's going on, everybody? You have Tone here, and I am here bringing you guys my IBL Season 5, Week number 8 Team Builder and Battle, where this week your Miami Malamarlins are taking on the Green Bay Pikachus and their coach, JacubAsAlways. His links and stuff will be in the description down below, as they always been, as well as the links to all the other coaches in the IBL. So, if you guys missed our last game, we did take on the New York Excel Pikas, again, Coach KreselleKey, and we came away with a very narrow 1-0 win in that game, coming down to Chino hitting 3 tail slaps and it coming through in the clutch. So, we are now 3-4 heading into this Week 8 matchup against the Green Bay Pikachus, and he is having a fantastic season. I believe he is coming into this matchup 6-1, if I'm not mistaken, and he had a very, very threatening team that I had to prep for. I'm not gonna lie here. So you see his full team at the bottom of your screen there, with the Celesteela, Mecha Gardevoir, Komao with Z-moves, Nidoqueen, Snorlax, Tornadus Incarnate, Alola Marowak, Leavanny with Z-moves, Liepard with Z-moves, Luxray with Z-moves, and the Corsola. So, the first thing that came to mind in terms of a matchup standpoint was the fact that, in hindsight, Mega Gardevoir is actually a bit of an issue for my team. Like, my Hyper Voice, like, I do have Bronzong, which resists both its dual stab, but at the same time, Mega Gardevoir can easily just run Shadow Ball to get some damage off, and plus he has other ways of chipping down my Bronzong fairly easily, especially considering the Alola Marowak can just come in and force a lot of pressure on that thing as well. So I have to be careful about that. Same thing applies to Celesteela. Celesteela can wear down Bronzong too with Flamethrower, make it easier for his Mega Gardevoir to come in and just spam Hyper Voice to his heart's content. I do have a Volcarona which was his Fairy types, but it's not really a situation where you want to switch Volcarona in on a Mega Gardevoir. And yeah, it was kind of a weird matchup in terms of trying to deal with Mega Gardevoir and then trying to have a game plan set up so I don't get overwhelmed by not only Gardevoir, but any of his potential setup options, being the Celesteela with Autotomized, Como with Dragon Dance, which actually scared me going into this matchup here, because I didn't really feel like I had enough for the Como in terms of my build, but I tried to make do with what I had at the time being. So there was also some other options that he had at his disposal, especially the fact that he could bring Sticky Web to slow down my Mega Gallade and my potential Scarf Cinccino, which, as you see, I didn't even bring Cinccino, which I will get into when I'm at the end of the team builder portion. So, just looking at the team as a whole, I felt as though I did pretty well in terms of my building process. Pretty much all these teams I build by myself and just put in my own EV spreads, my own spin on certain EV spreads, but most of these are pretty straightforward, I'm not gonna lie. So, without wasting any more time here, let's jump right into the team that I brought for this week. So the first Pokemon you see here is, of course, a Mega Gallade with Sword Stance, Close Combat, Zen Headbutt, and Thunder Punch, with max attack, enough speed for, I believe, his Mega Gardevoir. I believe that is the fastest mon that comes to mind. Yeah, I believe it's for like Mega Gardevoir and some stuff slower than that, and the rest I just threw into HP. Oh no, it's for Liepard. I forgot. Liepard's base 106. Yeah. So enough speed for Liepard, max attack, rest into HP. This was just my way of trying to break stuff like the Celesteela. I can probably try to SD on Celesteela. I can pretty much nuke a lot of his team. I'm able to get up to +2. Just looking at his team, the combination of Close Combat and Zen Headbutt is basically only resisted by the Mega Gardevoir, and Thunder Punch, while I could have ran Poison Jab, and probably should have ran Poison Jab if I'm being totally honest here. Looking at the team matchup, I wanted some way to better wear down Celesteela without having to go for close combat defense drops, because then afterwards something faster than like like Torn or something like that can just come in and revenge kill me, even though I do have a Thundurus in the back. But still, I just threw on Thunder Punch there. I didn't really think of any other moves that I could have put there. I really wanted to put Poison Jab over Thunder Punch, but that's just pretty much how I built this team, not gonna lie. But either way, it could still break down a good portion of the squad, regardless of whether I ran Poison Jab or not on this Mega Gallade set. So moving right on to the next Pokemon here, we have our Volcarona with Quiver Dance, Roost, Flamethrower, and Psychic with the Psyche MZ with max HP, 68 special attack, and 196 speed, which is enough speed to outrun his Leavanny and everything slower than that. So the idea was he had a pretty good amount of options to check to deal with my Volcarona. Alola Marowak came to mind, Thick Fat Snorlax came to mind too, and the best thing I can do in those situations is try to go for a Quiver Dance and then try to fire off a Psyche MZ, because his fire resists do not like dealing with Psychic whatsoever. Barring Snorlax, of course, stuff like Nidoqueen gets blown back, Komao gets destroyed by Shattered Psyche. Flamethrower obviously there for every other mon on his team, barring like Corsola and whatnot. But more or less, this team, this Volcarona said, pretty much has everything on his team. Neutrally, I can blow back the Alola Marowak with some prior chip damage, so that's not really much of a factor in this regard. I could have ran like Hidden Power Ground, but it seemed a little bit too innocuous in that situation, especially when Psychic does just as much damage to Alola Marowak, especially if I'm able to get up rocks in the game. So it didn't really make any sense to try to run HP Ground on this set. So yeah, this is not primarily going to be my win con in this game, considering the amount of options he has to check my Volcarona, but I'll get into the actual win con when I get there. So this is one potential thing I can have in terms of breaking his team in the mid game or in the early game if my Mega Gallade does not do that job. So now moving on here, we have Defog 3 attacks, Thunderous Therian with Thunderbolt, Psychic, and Volt Switch as the attacking options, with 116 HP, 140 special attack, max speed with a timid nature, just enough to outspeed Mega Gardevoir, and I believe the special attack investment was just enough to like guarantee knockout stuff like Celesteela, offensive Celesteela after Stealth Rock, and just take certain hits better, like Gardevoir's Hyper Voice that can take from full and retaliate with a Psychic or a Volt Switch. I could have ran Dark Pulse. I considered Dark Pulse, but I figured Marowak is still going to be taking a good portion of damage from Psychic, regardless if it's hit neutrally or not. And Psychic also lets me 2 a KO, potentially Nidoqueen with some prior damage if it's not Spadef, and it also lets me deal with the Komao as well. So the main idea for Thunderous is to just come in, defog away Stealth Rock, keep my Volcarona as high as HP as I possibly can. So that's pretty much it for Thunderous Therian. Next up, we have our Clefable here. For the first time, I'm bringing offensive Life Orb Clefable here. Soft-Boiled Moonblast, Fire Blast, and Stealth Rock with 132 HP, 188 special attack, and 188 speed. This is enough speed to guarantee outspeed a Adamant or Modest max speed Celesteela. I can blow that thing back with a Fire Blast after some prior damage. And the HP lets me just live some hits like Mega Gardevoir's Hyper Voice, and I can fire off a Moonblast, do roughly half to Mega Gardevoir if it's not bulk invested, and pretty much the idea is to just come in and just try to get up rocks and then try to nuke his team down, wear his team down with Life Orb boosted Moonblast and Fire Blast. He won't necessarily know that I'm Life Orb since Magikarp negates the recoil damage, which is great. His only real switch-ins to Clef would be like Alola Marowak, Nidoqueen. Snorlax to an extent too can be a good switch-in, but at the same time Snorlax would have to be wary of the potential of me bringing knockoff on Clef. I can knock off its item, most likely Figgy Berry if he's not like Thick Fat, or if he doesn't bring Alola Marowak, then I'm assuming that the Snorlax is indeed Thick Fat for my Volcarona. It would just make the most sense in that regard. So, and this just lets me check the Celesteela if it has not gone for an Autotomize. If he's not like specially defensive, then Fire Blast, Life Orb Fire Blast from my Clef will just blow back Celesteela with some chip damage, like I said. And Moonblast is just nice to hit for everything else. like I said, it's just a very straightforward mon. An offensive clef is slept upon in League format because most people bring clef like bulky and whatnot, or calm mind, or anything of that variation. This is just nice in general, just to catch something off guard on his team. So now we have my Mega Gardevoir check, quote unquote, being my Drapion with Mago Berry, Taunt, Knockoff, Poison Jab, Aqua Tail, Max HP, 20 attack, rest, and speed. This is enough speed for Leavanny, but to potentially taunt the so I can potentially taunt the Leavanny before it can go for a Sticky Web, as I guarantee outspeed that, unless he's bringing Scarf, Sticky Web, Leavanny, which props to him if he does. But even if he brings Sticky Web, as long as I keep my Thundurus around, I can defog whenever I potentially can. And the idea behind this set is very straightforward. Just try to taunt some of his slower Pokemon, prevent them from going for any setup options. I can prevent Como from Dragon Dancing or going for Autotomize, stuff like that. I can prevent Celesteela from going for Elite Sea if it's more of a defensive variant, and I can just spam knockoff to my heart's content, because unless he's packing a Z Crystal on any of his Z-Mons, someone's losing their item. And then Aqua Tail is just mainly there for two reasons. The first one is the hardest thing I can. It was the hardest move that Drapion had in his arsenal to make sure I hit the Celesteela neutrally, while also maintaining coverage on the Nidoqueen. And the other reason why I have Aqua Tail, although the situation may not come up for it, is because of my last Pokemon here. Because as you saw, I have Stealth Rock on my Clefable, so what the heck's my Seismitoad doing here? Well, that's what it's doing here. So for the first time in a long time, actually, I don't think I've actually brought this set, but this is an offensive Swift Swim Seismitoad. So as you see, his water resist is essentially Como, and I believe that's it. Well, there's Leavanny too, but I don't really consider Leavanny a switch unless he's like running Spadef Synthesis Sticky Web Leavanny. Unless he does that, props to him. And also thing that was running through my mind too was like a Sulfest Corsola. Like Spadef AV Corsola can actually, I think, can take 2 hits. I'm not entirely sure on the calc. I didn't do anything like that. But if he does bring certain Pokemon, like if I can weaken the Como and I get up a Rain Dance, I can outspeed it, go for Life Orb, modest Earth Power. I do roughly half to 1 to 0 bulk Como. I can blow back a lot of his team actually with some prior damage. Celesteela, I guarantee outspeed Celesteela in the rain, even if he is goes for an Autotomize, unless he is jolly or timid on his Celesteela. If he is Autotomized, then he will not outspeed my Seismitoad. So yeah, nothing much else to say about that. The moveset is very straightforward. If I can get up a Rain Dance in the late game, I could probably sweep him. I'm able to wear down most of his team with the rest of my Mons, which I probably can if I play my cards right. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it from the team builders. Probably went on a little bit longer than I had hoped. So with that being said, let's just switch on over to the battle and see how we fare in this week in the IBL. So here is the matchup we have against Jacob and his Green Bay Pikachus, and he is rocking the Leavanny, Nidoqueen, Celesteela, Tornadus Incarnate, Mega Gardevoir, and the Snorlax. So the first thing I am noticing is the fact that he did not bring Como, which is great for my Clefable, because that's just one less thing I have to worry about in terms of like Poison Jab or Poisonium Z or anything of the sort. And pretty much his only Z-Mon that he brought was the Leavanny, and since I'm expecting the Leavanny to be Sticky Web to slow down my Mega Gallade and make all his other Mons faster than my Mega Gallade after webs have taken into effect, I have to make sure that at all possible I want to avoid going for preventing him from getting up webs with the Leavanny, because they can hinder a good portion of my team, especially considering I am bringing a Swift Swim Seismitoad in this matchup, and I do not want to be slowed down any more than I have to, especially considering that there isn't much in terms of him bringing Scarfed. Scarf Tornadus is a possibility, but I don't want to take that risk. Same thing with Scarf Nidoqueen, but I doubt he'll be Scarf Nidoqueen considering it's the only Stealth Rocker he brought in this matchup. So with that all being said, in terms of the lead matchup, I figured in case he did lead off with the Leafani trying to get those webs up early, I am just going to lead off with my Drapion here because it made the most sense. It was a no drawback play because of the fact that if he lead off with Celesteela, I can taunt that. Nidoqueen I had to be a little bit more careful about since I can taunt and he can predict my going for a taunt, and I can just Earth Power my Drapion to Kingdom Come. So yeah, that's a bit of a problem, but nonetheless, let's just jump right into the matchup and see how we do here. So sorry about that. So first off, like I said, we're going to be challenged by Pokemon Trainer Jacob. Good luck, have fun, all that good stuff. So he is going to lead off with the Leafani, as I mentioned, and I'm going to lead off with my Drapion here. So not trying to predict things, I'm actually going to go for Poison Jab here because I'm expecting him to predict me to go for Taunt turn 1 to prevent the sticky webs here. As I get the Poison Jab, Poison 2, and he's going to go for the knockoff here, expect me to Taunt turn 1 here. So this is kind of a good exchange. The only problem is I lose my Mago Berry in the process, so I don't really act as a good switch on the Mega Gardevoir. So now I'm going to just go out for the knockoff here, as I'm expecting him to try to preserve this Leafani as I knock off this Celesteela's leftovers. And now I'm going to go for a taunt here, just in case he was a setup variant of Celesteela, as he does try to go for Leech Seed this turn. So I have just shut down this Celesteela somewhat. So now I'm going to go out into my Volcarona here, as he is just going to go for the Heavy Slam, trying to get some damage off on something. As you're going to see, it doesn't do that much damage, but I am going to get the Flame Body Burn on the Celesteela, which is incredible, because this just means that his Celesteela has just become even less of a hindrance. So now I'm going to make a switch out into my Mega Gallade, predicting him to go out into a Snorlax, because he didn't bring the Yellow Marowak. I figured that Snorlax had to be the Volcarona response here, as he does indeed pull the switch into the Snorlax here. So now I'm going to make another prediction here, as I'm going to just go for Zen Headbutt here, as he decides to just go in and sack off his Leafani, as I am going to Mega Evolve here, and I am going to click Zen Headbutt. I click Zen Headbutt mainly expecting him to go out into the Nidoqueen on the close combat, but nonetheless, I can connect them Zen Headbutt, Leafani is down, and that means there are going to be no webs on for the rest of this match. In comes the Tornadus though. Not the best situation for me. I'm going to pull a switch out, and I'm going to go directly out into my Drapion, simply because of the fact that I didn't want to go hard into my Thundurus. I could have, as it was my Flying Resist, but I'm just going to sack off my Drapion here, because Drapion basically already did its job in assuring that Sticky Web did not get up on our side of the field. So now I'm going to go out into my Thundurus here, and I'm going to click Psychic, as he is going to pull a switch out into his Nidoqueen this turn. So I get that prediction right, but he is going to reveal the Payapa Berry. Solid prep on Jacob's part for bringing the Payapa Berry to predict my Psychic. So now I'm just going to keep spamming Psychic here again. I have no reason not to, as he is going to live that and go for Stealth Rock here, which is totally fine. So now he's probably thinking that I'm Choice Scarfed in some variation, so he's going to pull a switch out into his Celesteela, as I am just going to click Psychic one more time. I have no reason not to. And now I'm going to reveal that I am not Choice Scarf, as I'm going to fire off a Thunderbolt after the burn damage taken into effect. We go for the T-Bolt here, and we are going to take down the Celesteela, so that is great for us. So now he goes back out into his Snorlax, and I want to take the opportunity to go for a Defog first, because I don't want my Volcarona to come in and lose half its health, since it still has some merit in this game, and he's going to go for the return. Do a good chunk to my Thundurus here, so now I'm going to get some leftover recovery back, and now I'm just going to fire off a Volt Switch here, because I know he does not want to go hard Nidoqueen again on my, going hard Nidoqueen, predicting me to go for Psychic. I'm going to Volt Switch into my Volcarona here as it goes for another return. And as we're going to see, we're going to live on 12, and we get the Flame Body Burn on the Snorlax too, so that's pretty amazing. But here's where I feel like I made a misplay here. I went for Roost, and I'm thinking, okay, the only reason why he would stay in here is he would have to have Facade on this set, which it turns out he does. So now this leads me to believe this has to be an Assault Vest variant, which means I could have still potentially got off damage if I had fired my Psyche MZ in that regard. So I feel like I kind of wasted that turn going for Roost in that regard. So now I'm going out into my Mega Gallade. He is going to go out into his Nidoqueen. I'm going to click Send Headbutt this turn, and we are going to to take down the Needle Queen this turn. So now we are ensuring that no rocks are going to be on our side of the field, but it doesn't really matter considering that the only thing that really affected was the Thunderous. Speaking of which, I'm going to switch out my Mega Gallade and go out into Thunderous on the incoming Air Slash from this Tornadus. We're going to live the hit, but I'm thinking he's Choice Scarf. I'm thinking, okay, if he's Scarf, we live the next Air Slash. I hope we don't get flinched, but he's going to reveal that he's not Choice Scarf. He's going to go for the Sludge Wave and take out our Thunderous, but that's totally fine because Thunderous did its job as well. So now I'm going to go on to my Clefable here, which was a bit of a questionable play, but I knew I could live a Sludge Wave from Tornadus from full. So we're going to eat that up. I'm going to fire off a Life Orb boosted Moonblast. This is probably the only situation where I wish I had Thunderbolt on my my Clef. We do get a special attack drop here. I'm just going to sack off my Clefable to the next Sludge Wave because all I really needed was damage off on this Torn to put it in range of where my Mega Gallade can now come in, click Thunder Punch, and pretty much get back into the game here. But unfortunately, he's going to miss the Air Slash, which does kind of suck, but in hindsight, even if he connected, it's not like he could flinch me anyway. Oops. So in comes the Mecha Gardevoir here, and here's where I'm wishing I had Poison Jab on my on Mega Gallade, but unfortunately I don't. So I'm just going to click Thunder Punch here. He's going to Mega Evolve his Gardevoir. I'm just going to click Thunder Punch. Do a good chunk, and we're going to die to Hyper Voice from this Mecha Gardevoir. But like I said, there's nothing I can really do in that situation here. So now it just comes down to my Seismitoad against Mega Gardevoir and the Snorlax. So now I'm going to go for the Rain Dance here as he's going to fire off another Hyper Voice. Do a good chunk. We're going to go for Rain Dance here. So now we guarantee outspeed this Mega Gardevoir, and I'm just going to fire off a Hydro Pump this turn as I don't believe Surf killed, and I didn't want to risk any potential rolls. So we're going to knock out the Mega Gardevoir with the Hydro Pump. And then his last Pokemon, of course, is the Snorlax, and since I'm already assuming it's the Sulphus, there's no way my Seismitoad is going to take out the Snorlax with a Hydro Pump. That did pitiful damage, if anything. And Snorlax is going to go for Facade, finish off my Seismitoad, and we are unfortunately going to lose this game 1-0, excuse me, to the JacubAsAlways and the Green Bay Pikachus. So first of all, GG to Jacob. That was a fantastic game. I cannot complain about this loss whatsoever. I felt as though I put myself in the best situation I could in terms of the matchup. I felt pretty good going into it. The only thing I really regret, probably in terms of how the match went, was not at least getting off more damage on the Snorlax. Like, if I had gone for my Psychium Z with my Volcarona, it might not have done that much damage considering the Snorlax was a Sulphus, but at least it would have at least given me a little bit more of hope. But the only thing it would have really changed was the fact that I probably would have needed to crit that last Hydro Pump in order to bring back the game in my favor. But nonetheless, I felt very good about this matchup. I feel like I played exceptionally well in this game. I don't feel like I made any mistakes in terms of my battle process, my thought process heading into the matchup and all that stuff. So yeah, this is what I can really say is a respectable loss, because I felt like I put myself in the best situation I could in terms of bringing the game back. I did a good job with preventing the webs from getting up from the Leavanny. I prevented rocks from sticking around on my side of the field thanks to my Thunderous. Again, other than that, nothing really much else to say in terms of that regard. So this is a loss I can definitely look back and say that I tried, and I came close but didn't quite get to the end there. So this is unfortunately going to drop us to 3-5. But like I said, we still have four more games to go. The playoffs are still within reach. That's still pretty good in terms of having a fighting chance, in terms of making these last 4 games count for our odds of making the playoffs. So that's going to be it from me, guys. Again, good game to Jacob. His links and stuff will be in the description. Be sure to check him out if you guys haven't done so already. Check out all the other coaches in the IBL. Check out the Discord server. The link is in the description as well. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I would definitely appreciate it. And until the next time, guys, this is Tone, signing out for now. Peace out.